Good morning, this is Jason Smith. We're shooting another episode of Project North Country. We're here at the beautiful Thompson Park. I'm here with Jenna Mooney. How you doing, Jenna?
Good, how are you?
Jenna represents Heartbeats for Madden. Now, her friend actually reached out to me about this foundation. She saw that we're doing this initiative with the Project North Country, and she said, hey, would you be interested in doing this foundation that my friend has launched? It's called Heartbeats for Madden. I was like, sure, I'm not really familiar with it, but send me the information. Well, I was actually on vacation when she sent me the email, and I was just blown away. I was totally blown away. I called Jason right away. I said, hey, we definitely got to shoot this and definitely build some awareness. I have a small boy and one coming on the way, so I mean, it definitely hits close to home for me. And I'm gonna have Jenna tell the story of her son Madden. I'm going to try to keep my composure. I'm sure Jenna's done this many times and is going to be stronger than me about it. But Jenna, tell us her story about Madden and why you've formed the Heartbeats for Madden.
Heartbeats for Madden was started in August of 2014. I had dropped my son, who was 8 months old, Madden, and his brother and sister, his 10-year-old sister and his 6-year-old brother at the time. Mm-hmm. Dropped them off at his daycare provider's house so I could go to work like every working family does.
Right.
You have to, both parents have to work. So I dropped my children off at their daycare provider's house. I called to check on my children around lunchtime, and about an hour and a half after I'd called to check on them, I got a call from the babysitter that I had to get there immediately. Madden wasn't breathing.
Right.
So I immediately, left work and started to drive there, and halfway there, she had called me and said, go to the hospital. Madden's being transported to Samaritan Medical Center. So I arrive at Samaritan not knowing anything, not knowing, what I was walking into. After a few short hours, a team from Syracuse upstate had arrived and had told us that due to Madden being without oxygen for so long, if he did survive, he would be completely brain dead.
Right.
So we were transported to Syracuse, and Madden was pronounced dead a few short hours later. After months of investigations and looking into exactly what happened, it was found that Madden was placed on his back, surrounded by pillows and blankets, and with a bottle on an adult bed, and he suffocated during his nap time. Right. Due to the lack of oxygen that he received during that time, he was left brain dead. Kind of on a side piece of that, my 10-year-old daughter at the time was instructed by the daycare provider to call 911. Being that it wasn't her house, she didn't know the address, she immediately picked up the house phone instead of picking up the cell phone, which bought 5 to 10 minutes of time, which allowed emergency crews to get there a lot faster and start working on Madden, immediately.
Sure.
So because of her quick thinking, we were able to spend a few short hours with Madden as opposed to being on the other side of it and not having that time.
Right.
So her quick thinking really did her family justice.
Right.
And the daycare provider did perform CPR. She was performing it incorrectly. Incorrect CPR is better than no CPR, but if she would have known the proper procedures, we could be looking at maybe a different situation.
Sure.
So we kind of started Heartbeats for Madden to bring awareness on safe sleep, the importance of CPR training for any age. My daughter was there. She could have absolutely been the only one to be able to perform it.
Right.
And, what it entails for a young child to know what happens when an emergency crews respond and what you need to do in the proper procedure. So
Right. No, Jenna, unfortunately, these things probably happen more often than they ought to. Definitely a lot of uneducated or, untrained people, the basics of CPR, just the common sense things of how to place a baby while they're sleeping, all that kind of stuff. There's probably a ton of daycares throughout the whole area that, probably could be trained a little bit better on some of these things. What other training and awareness are you trying to build through the foundation? Who have you teamed up with? I think you mentioned you originally started with community service here in town.
Yep. We originally started with the North Country Community Foundation,
Okay.
which was great for us. I mean, it was a nice foundation layer, so to speak,
Sure.
for us, and we kind of took off faster than we ever anticipated taking off, which is fantastic for us, but it needed to bring us to another level.
Right.
So I shared the story with the North Country Prenatal Perinatal Council, and they do work out of all 3 local counties, Jefferson, Lewis, St. Lawrence counties.
Right.
And their mission is for every woman, every child, every baby, and what they can do to educate and offer services and so on and so forth. So it was a perfect opportunity for Heartbeats for Madden to kind of slide in and share the same mission. So at this point, we are a program fund of NCPPC, which is going to allow us to grow. It's going to allow us to do more than just offer the CPR certifications and the 911 education. We're looking to offer safe sleep education for all new moms, CPR for all new moms. The minute that mother delivers that baby, there should be procedures in place to make sure that when she goes home, she has all the tools and knowledge that she needs to make sure that her baby, makes it through their first year of life and graduates high school. So what happened to Madden doesn't happen to another family. So at this point, just kind of making Madden's story as known as we possibly can, bringing as much awareness as we can to it, and maybe down the road someday get a law passed that protects these babies from something like this happening.
Yeah, stricter guidelines and maybe more.
Because at this point, there's nothing that protects any family from doing what they have to do to support their family, and then but being able to pick up their child from daycare.
Now, is there any sort of certification as far as in order to be licensed daycare? I assume you have to be, proficient in CPR and.
Yeah, if you're state licensed, then the state can protect the family. But if you're not a state licensed facility, there's really nothing that protects that baby or that family from having the proper care that they need, and just educating parents that picking someone to watch your child is should be on the forefront of it.
Definitely.
You think it won't happen because it hasn't happened to you.
That won't happen to me, right?
Exactly, but we've all been sleep deprived and want to sleep with our baby, or breastfeeding in bed, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But
we probably all have been guilty of it.
Exactly. But we need to make sure that we know that that's not safe and it's not okay.
Now, Jenny, you talked about some of the foundations doing for building awareness. What other charitable events are you doing? I know you got the run coming up June 18th, correct? Actually, here at Thompson Park.
Here at Thompson Park, we have a run that's going to raise money to support all the awareness that we're trying to bring and certifications and such. So it's a Color Blast run. It's the Madden's 5K Color Blast, and it's the 2nd annual. We did it last year. We were the first color run to come to Watertown or Jefferson County, actually. Yeah, so it was a great turnout last year. We had about 200 runners. We're looking at about 250 to 300 runners this year. A lot of color to be blasted. It's going to be a great time. And registration is online, of course. And you can register the day of the event as well too.
Where do you go register?
You can go right to the Heartbeats for Madden Facebook page if you want to, or you can go to Eventbrite and search Madden's 5K Color Blast.
Okay, great. Now you had a dodgeball tournament, correct?
We did.
In the past, right?
We did.
How
we
was
had
that?
a very successful dodgeball tournament. It was Dodge for a Cause at the YMCA. They were great to support our event. And so it was the first time we did it. We kind of tweaked it a little bit and went to that adult crowd that was a little bit more vicious.
Right.
So it was really a good
fun,
it was a great time. We raised a good chunk of money and able to offer 2 upcoming CPR certification classes because of that event. So those will be offered for free and more information.
Okay, so you got the run coming up June 18th. Anything else coming up in the future?
Not at this point. We're kind of in the works of maybe doing a celebration, in the 2-year passing of Madden, looking at doing some kind of celebration of life kind of event. Nothing final at this point, though.
Okay. So here on Project North Country, we always like to ask our guests, you've lived your entire life from Sackets, correct?
Yep.
So you have a lot to say about Sackets, I bet. What advice could you give anybody moving in the area, anybody who wants to settle here? What advice would you give them as far as the area, the people? What do you love about this area?
After after Madden passed away, actually, one of the first things that my husband and I talked about was the fact that we had friends and family that we didn't know existed.
Right.
So the best thing I can say about living in this community and living in this area is that everybody in a tragedy like this comes together and supports whatever cause you have. It's a very close-knit community.
Right.
And being that it's so small, people sometimes shy away from that, but I think that's kind of its, greatest aspect is that it's so small and everybody knows everybody and really kind of comes together to support.
Time of need, yeah.
It's
great.
So definitely a beautiful area, lots to do, lots to see, but it's really the people that make it what it is.
Great. Well, I definitely commend you for your strength and bravery. I assume it's been a challenging path, but yet I would bet with the community support, it's giving you the strength to cope with and to move on, and to definitely build awareness for everybody in Madden's name. And for that, I thank you, actually. So
thank you. Thank you.
I definitely thank you for being on our show here today. We're here at Thompson Park. I'd love you to get on our YouTube channel and click like and subscribe. Definitely get on our Facebook page. We'll be shooting more Project North Countries here in the next couple weeks. Definitely show up June 18th for the 5K run in support of Madden and Heartbeats for Madden. And thanks for coming out, and we'll see you next time.